Jess and I became friends because my brother Brian was in Tiara and she started playing in his band, and we hung out a lot. And I have a really long nonprofit background and was not working in the nonprofit field. And I was really whiny a lot about not feeling satisfied, like career-wise. So Jess was always like, why don't you do something about it? And so one night we were hanging out at Andy Mann's and we just came up with the idea for combining Jess's musical knowledge with my nonprofit knowledge and then just seeing what we could do with it. We had a grant, a request for proposals, and it pretty much just laid out the criteria for who we would give a grant to. And the main points of it were you had to be a musician and you had to be working on a project that demonstrated how you were making Columbus a better place through music. So either a project that was raising money for a good cause using music might have qualified, or something that just strengthens the music community might have qualified. So those were the criteria, and then we got all the grant proposals in, and we, Jess and I reviewed them, and then we sent them out to external viewers so that it was a little more diverse as to who was looking at them. And the two proposals that we awarded them to just really demonstrated really innovative ways to strengthen the community using music, or to strengthen a niche of the music community.
I like the Data Panic project because they were looking to start a not-for-profit studio, so they were opening up a studio for people to go in and record whenever, if they were available to do so, and I thought that was pretty innovative. A lot of people don't have money to go in and record their own music, and that's a tool to utilize for all of the music community, as well as archiving a lot of the older Columbus music that was only put out on vinyl and isn't around anymore, so they're putting it into CD and MP3 format as well. And the sound experience workshop was one that was a little broader, not in the rock and roll community, which we're so familiar with, and was working with autistic youth. So they pretty much were using music as a tool to help them, learn music for the most part, and giving them a CD of the projects that they were working on when they were done.
It hurt to turn everybody down because, anybody who puts their heart and soul into a proposal and once, takes the time to, show you what they're doing, we would love to give everybody in the world all the money that they want.
We were interested in all the projects. We just had to tailor it to our mission statement as much as possible, and there were ones that were better than that than others, I think.
Yeah. A lot of the things that we do that are kind of under the radar, one thing that we do a lot of is networking with out-of-town bands, or just people, like our MySpace page is really one of our best tools because we get out-of-town bands, or we get a lot of young kids or high school kids who are looking to do musical things, and those responses have been really way outside of just the rock and roll community that we know. So I think that, our kind of motto is doing everything in baby steps, and that's how the MySpace page is how we've branched into that. And at our workshops that we've done 2 grant writing for musicians workshops. We've had really a fairly diverse audience. The last one we did, we had a lot of people who were really interested in finding ways to use hip hop music or R&B stuff. So I'm just hoping that we'll continue to kind of spread out real gradually. We've had some requests for, can you help guide us through this process? And lately, because we've given out the grants and I think there's more awareness, we're getting a lot of, hey, I have this really great idea, can you help me kind of flesh it out? And I think that's really the role that we really want to be people who help people fulfill their cool ideas, not it just be Jess and I's vision of what we think is, cool ideas for music.
We have regular 9-to-5 day jobs, and I play in bands as well, so I have band practice or show several nights a week, and it's just something that we're doing part-time as we can, and it's something we eventually want to be a lot more, full-time for us both, but it has to be baby steps. I don't want it to be one of those projects that you hear about in Columbus that fizzles out in a year or two. I want it to be around for a lot longer than that. I would love to, have this be a full-time career at some point, but I've never gone through the process before of becoming a 501c3, and it's not like as soon as we become a 501c3, we're guaranteed a pool of money that's going to fund salaries for us. So, like, it's really depends on what we can stumble across and find that are out there to fund, you know, like seed money for an organization like this, I think.
Yeah, like we were working kind of very, like, you know, we're really focused on the parking lot blowout right now.
It's an all day, all ages rock and roll show outside in the Surly Girl parking lot. It's free, completely free, and it's pretty much a fundraiser. We're raising money through our beer sales and hot dog sales to fund an emergency health care fund for Columbus musicians. So it's, you know, pretty much all the money we raise is going to go into a pool of money that Columbus musicians can apply for and use towards their health care expenses for those who don't have health care right now.
We are trying to model it on a national program sponsored by the Grammys called MusiCares, and they have a pool of money that Columbus musicians can even apply for, but we wanted to really, you know, have our own local pool of money. And, you know, somebody could submit a bill to us, and if they meet the criteria and they don't have health insurance, then we may pay, like, you know, for, you know, a $200 medical bill, or if somebody needed to, like, have drug or alcohol rehab services, we might be able to help out with that. And I think it's going to be more like, you know, we would never probably just give money to somebody. We'll kind of say, well, you submit your bill, and then we'll submit it to your health insurance company or something, or to the doctor if you don't have health insurance. So, and I'm hoping, one reason we really want to do it is we're hoping we can really impact a bigger pool of people, more than just 2 grants a year. Like, if we have this big pool of money that's kind of available, then people can come up on a case-by-case basis. Applying for 501c3 status is really important to us so that we are recognized federally as a nonprofit and will be tax exempt. And that's really important because it opens us up to way more grants and to funders that would only donate, especially like corporate partners who would donate if they could get a tax write-off. And then we also want to kind of keep our momentum going, because ideally we'd love to have a CMC something every month, but we tentatively have planned another grants writing workshop in September, and then Jess, you should talk about, we have a youth project planned.
My project for October is going to be tailored towards high school kids, kind of giving them the rundown of this is what you need to do to navigate the waters of booking shows and getting press in Columbus, and here's the people you need to talk to and the websites to visit and the contacts at venues, and here's the things that you need to know when you're going to book a show and things not to ask about, you know, just pretty much like a hands-on kind of workshop for them to get their feet wet and how to do that, to just keep inspiring kids to keep, you know, playing music and hopefully become and keep growing the music community that we have.
When we think about our next steps, a kind of 5 to 7 year strategic plan is where we are, and the culmination of that plan is, well, at this point, the CMC will be an organization, that's our jobs, and it'll be a building, and it'll be a real nonprofit that you can go to.